I played a 3 game match against someone named Jonathan Miniello, a 2057 rated player. This is about 400 rating points higher than me. I was expecting to go in losing all 3 games, but I came out with an upset in round 2. Here are all the games, starting with round 1. I have the black pieces here, and we play d5 and then e6, going for a queen's gambit, declined. We have the Carlsbad variation with an early exchange on d5. And now we play some normal opening moves. I go b5 for an early queenside expansion, and here I play knight e4, trying to grab that center. It was around this point where I feel like things starting to go wrong for me. It was at this point where I blundered a pawn, and I'm about to blunder another pawn. There's just so much pressure going on. I'm at this point completely lost after g6 because of queen over there, giving me a fork between that rook and that pawn. This was a terrible game, a bad start. This here is game 2. We have e4, e6, and we have a Tarrasch of the French defense. We play some normal developing moves. I'm liking my center control. g3, I think it was a cute move because it prepares for maybe something like bishop g4. But we have a capture, and now my bishop is hit. I move it back, and I have a little battery going on, so if black's not careful and that knight is removed, this pawn is a bit vulnerable. So I go here trying to trade it off, and now I take the center with the knight. And here I think bishop f4 was pretty good. I am threatening to take that pawn with a discovered attack on the queen, and that knight would be protecting that bishop. And the queen is kind of hard to move around. It's a bit stuck there. So they play bishop d6, and I go back, and now it's pinned with the knight. So I had a feeling that maybe black would try to go back and forth for a repetition. I would have been very happy with it to get a draw against someone 400 rating points higher than me. But no, we have takes, rook takes, queen takes rook, pawn takes, and then rook takes, and then bishop takes. But if you notice, after all of these exchanges, the material count is equal, and I have the bishop pair, which is a slight advantage. So now we back up the bishop, and there's a lot of shuffling going on here. We activate our pieces, bring them closer, and now we trade off the rook. I don't want to give up the bishop right away. He could take the bishop here, but I feel like I had bishop to f3. So instead he goes here, makes kind of a waiting move, and brings his king a little bit closer to the action. I didn't want that knight to chop it off, so brought it back a little bit. And now we activate the king. Now he chops off the bishop. I no longer have the bishop pair, so things are getting a little bit equal. And the knight seems a little bit awkward over there, but not a whole lot I could do. And bishop d4 here was a pretty bad mistake on my part, because after knight d7, king e3, at this position, black can make a waiting move here with like a5. And if I play a3, he has a4. And then I'm in trouble no matter what I do next. It's going to leave the protection of that pawn. And then, like, for example, here, knight takes, bishop takes, king takes. He's going to be up a pawn. This pawn's going to hang, and then he'll have 2 passed pawns that are just going to run down the board. And it'll just be a dead lost position for me. Instead of making a waiting move over there, black decides he's going to try to give me a check and pick up this pawn, which is, it looks a little bit scary on the surface, but then I realized that I had a trick. To trick my opponent, I played king g5, and I'm totally willing to give up that pawn because I had king h6, sacrificing that pawn, but this allows king g7, a beautiful move, and there's absolutely nothing that black can do to prevent me from capturing that pawn and escorting the pawn down to become a queen. This pawn here is not fast enough. The king has to move out of the way, and the pawn has to go all this way down. And here my opponent runs out of time, and I take the dub. I take the dub against a 400 point higher rated person than me. That was an awesome victory. Things kind of go to shambles here in game 3, where we have d4, d5. We have another Carlsbad with an early capture on d5. And this time my opponent plays the move f3, trying to prepare for an e4 pawn break. I go for this early queenside expansion idea again, and things are kind of equalish, but I made a huge blunder here. It's been a really long day for me, so I totally forgot that the knight can come here and fork my 2 rooks. Big blunder. I try to counterattack, but here he has this check. I cannot go here because this is going to be a checkmate. Also a fork, but more importantly, it's a checkmate. So I go the other way. But then queen c5 is a deadly move, and here I resigned. There's just way too much pressure. This knight is loose. Both of these rooks are loose, and there's so much pressure going down on my king. My position was about to collapse. But hey, I took a game off of him. Really happy about that. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe if you like this video, and I'll see you next time.